Yes, Aishwarya, just can you brief what we have discussed in the morning today?
Yes, sir. First, we started with channel dependent multi user resource scheduling,
Okay.
and we learned about multiple antenna techniques. Few
Yeah.
solutions to improve was system capacity, spectral efficiency, link robustness.
Okay.
And then we spoke about transmit diversity. So
Yeah.
transmit diversity is multiple path fading in a wireless channel. So it can scan copies of the same signal coded differently over multiple transmit antennas.
Yeah. To correct you, this transmit diversity is used to combat the effect of multipath fading
Multiple
in wireless channels.
wireless channel. Yes,
Yeah.
sir. And next we
Okay.
spoke about beam forming
Yeah.
and why we use beam forming, spatial multiplexing, and then multi-user MIMO,
Okay.
and that's also.
Okay. So, in a nutshell, the use of multi-antenna techniques in LTE is to improve link robustness, system capacity,
See,
and spectral efficiency. Right?
so
Okay. And even while when we were discussing about four different types of multi-antenna techniques, I said the first one is transmit diversity. So with that, we will be able to improve the system capacity and cell range. And by using that is beam forming, we will be able to improve what by using beam forming. Yeah, anyone of you can say by using beam forming what is the achievement? Beam forming. What is the advantage of beam forming?
reliability, battery life, capacity,
Yeah,
and coverage range.
yeah. So beamforming can also improve coverage range and reliability, right, as well as the battery life. And it can also track or gives the angular information about the user. Okay, it's also used to track the angular information about the user. Fine. Then spatial multiplexing can improve the system capacity, right? Yeah, so these things are used in downlink only. Only the multi-user MIMO is used for uplink. Fine. So let us take up the next one. Uh, that is the next technology with respect to this key enabling technologies. What we were discussing about LTE, right? The last one is the what? IP-based flat network architecture. Hope you're able to see the PPT.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So this is I have written here four diagrams. Okay. So this is all about the third, that is 3GPP evolution towards a flat LTE SAE architecture. Okay. So that means how the network architecture has evolved from 2G to 4G. So this is all about that. So let me say why it is called flat. Okay. What do you mean by that? Flat. So before we take up that, let me say with respect to this diagram, see the first one has four components. The first one is about 2G or 3G, which is release 6. So I said now it has different releases, right? Different generations will have different releases. So 2G, 3G system, we call that as a release 6. So that network, that is 2G network, has four network components. One is BTS. Okay, of course, even user equipment will be there. Sorry, user equipment will be there. Along with that, which is not shown here, the user equipment. So I am showing here only the network side elements. Okay, So one is the BTS, that is a base transceiver station. Next one is BSC, that is a base station controller, we say, or radio network controller. Then the next element is serving GPRS service node. Okay, GPRS service node. Then gateway GPRS service node. So these are the four network elements which are there in 2G and 3G, which is released in release 6. Okay, and I have shown two lines now. The purpose of these two lines is all about to say one is for control, another one is for data. Okay, one is the control path, another one is the data path. Okay, so from BTS to BSC, both the paths are there, or has to go through this network element, that is BSC. Then from BSC to SGSN, what I said for SGSN, serving gateway service node, right? So then from there to gateway GPRS service node, right? So what happened in release 7? Okay, so in release 7 also we have four network elements, right? But what is the change here? The functionalities of the base station controller and BTS are clubbed. Okay, and that one is called as node B. Okay, so that is named as node B. Then yeah, next there will be a radio network controller, and here what we are observing is there is a direct path. Okay, direct tunnel path to the gateway GPRS service node. Okay, in the previous it was through SGSN. So here, as far as one path is concerned, that is for data path is concerned, so it will be going directly from RNC, radio network controller, to GGSN, that is gateway GPRS service node. Okay, only the control path will go through this SGSN element, network element. Hope understood the difference. So because of this direct path, so the latency has been reduced. Okay, so delay will be less. That is one change with respect to the previous one. And another change is what I said, the functionalities of base station controller and BTS clubbed together, and it has been brought to a new element called node B. Okay, so together is known as the node B. So this is release 7. Okay, then the next version, that is 3G LTE release 7. Here the functionality of RNC also brought down to node B. Okay, so now node B with radio network controller functionality. So that has been brought to the lower network element only. Then, so there is a direct path to SAE gateway. Okay. Then another one is through SGSN. So as usual with the previous one. So here the number of elements is only 2, what I can say, for the direct data path, and for control path it is through SGSN, right? So the next release, that is 3G LTE release 8, the functionalities of SGSN has been replaced by an element known as Mobility Management Entity, that is MME. Okay, so MME is what? Mobility Management Entity. And here what I said about this node B with radio network controller functionality now, that is renamed as what? eNode B. Okay, in LTE, that is release 8, we call the base station, okay, as eNode B. Hope able to understand the difference now from one version to another version, in what way the number of elements have been reduced, and how they are they could mix up the functionalities of different network components, and they can reduce the number of network components, and with that they will be able to reduce the cost also, and as well as the latency, right? So when we have less number of equipments, obviously the infrastructure cost will become less, and as well as the latency will also reduce, right? Because it has to go through only a few number of network components. Okay, in that way we say the latency has been reduced. So this is how the IP-based flat network architecture has been evolved. So in this case, that is in case of 2G, for voice, there will be a circuit switch network. Okay. Okay, so that is the mechanism which they use to carry out the voice. Means that is from user equipment, what we can say mobile equipment, to BTS. So several hundreds of BTS, that is base transceiver stations, will be controlled by one BSC, that is base station controller. So like that, several BSCs will be controlled by then MSC, we say, that is mobile switching center. Like that, from MSC, it will go through SGSN and then through the GGSN to outside world. That is, it may be to the PLMN and other things. Okay, so let me just say in brief. So this is with respect to diagram what I said. Here, if you are, hope if you are able to understand how there is an movement, that is the design of this network has been moved from 2G to 4G. Okay, with reduction of a number of network components. Then if I say in next slide, you should be able to grasp that idea. Is this picture is clear? Yes, I'm asking, is this picture is clear? Of course, I have not told the functionality of each and every element. I will come back to that. What is the function of E node B? Right? What is the function of that is system architecture award, gateway system, then mobility management entity and all. So just I'm saying the outline of the evolution of the network. Okay, that is from 2G to 4G. Okay, so with respect to that, to say why it is called flat, right? I said now here it is IP based flat network architecture. So this one is fully IP based, okay? And so the word flat implies few nodes, okay? So few here node means that network element, okay? That is, it may be BTS or it may be SGSN or it may be GGSN, okay? So that we call as a node. Okay, so this flat, the word flat implies a few number of nodes and it has less hierarchical structure for the network. Okay, so with respect to explain about the first one, I said now the hierarchy is what? So several mobile stations will come under one BTS. Let us say 100 mobile stations, okay, will be handled by 100 mobile users will be handled by one particular base transceiver station. Like that, maybe 10 BTSs will be handled by one base station controller. Then, like that, maybe 10 BSCs will be handled by one MSC, that is a mobile switching center. So that is what here there is a network hierarchy. Okay, but here is not like that, right? All these functionalities will be brought down to the lower network element. With that, so number of network elements has been reduced. Okay, so that is why the name is flat. Okay, so as I already said, the lower cost and lower latency requirement, right? So when I was telling about 4G requirement, it should be of low cost and low latency. So to get these requirements, so the design has been rolled towards the flat architecture. So that flat architecture is what? Few number of nodes and less hierarchical structure for the network. That is what the meaning of flat. So few nodes implies lower infrastructure cost, right? And also it also means a few interfaces. That is interface is from mobile to BTS. There will be an air interface. Then from BTS to BSC, it may be wired or wireless. Then from BTS to BSC, again it is wired or wireless. Like that, from BSC to MSC. Then from MSC to other network elements also, it will be of wide. So here, so the number of interfaces is also reduced because the number of network components are less in that way. So few interfaces and a protocol related processing that has reduced the interoperability testing, so which will lower the development and deployment cost. Okay. So with that, we will be able to achieve the low-cost network. So few nodes also allow better optimization of the radio interface, right? Then so optimization of the radio interface is also becomes well. Then merging of some control plane protocols and as well as a short session startup time. Okay, because in this case, so in the first network, that is in case of 2G, to establish a call, okay, it may take more time. But whereas in case of 4G, the startup time may be less. Okay, that is what the meaning of that. So just what I said in 3GPP release 6, that architecture has 4 network elements, right? In the data path, that is base station, then radio network controller, right, serving GPRS service node, then gateway GPRS service node. In release 7, so it has, that is the second diagram. I said it has introduced a direct tunnel option from radio network controller to GGSN. So that has eliminated SGSN from the data path. So with respect to this diagram, I can say from RNC to GGSN, there is a direct data path. So it has eliminated the SGSN component in the data path. Okay. Then the LTE, so that is the next version, have only 2 network elements, right, in the data path. That is this one, right? That is one is E node B, another one is SAE gateway, right? So LTE will have only 2 network elements in the data path. That is one is E node B means enhanced node B we call. Okay, enhanced node B. In short, we call it as E node B. And it has what? SAE gateway. That is SAE means system architecture evolution. Okay, system architecture evolution gateway, SAE gateway. That is GW, gateway means. So the LTE has merged the base station and as well as radio network functionality into the single unit that is known as node B. And the control path includes the functional entity known as what I said, that is the mobility management entity, right? Mobility management entity is the element which is there between E node B and the SAE gateway through the control path. Okay. So the name only says what the MME will do, mobility management entity. So it takes care of mobility of the users. Okay. When the user is moving from one network to another network, or if he is moving from one coverage area to another coverage area, so his call continuity has to be established, right? So that is taken care by this mobility management entity element, right? So which provides a control plane functions related to subscribers, mobility and session management. So here the key aspect of this LTE flat architecture is what I said. So this is the what I can say flat that is IP based flat network architecture. No? So it can provide all services. All services here it includes voice services also and data services also. Okay. As I said, in case of 2G, to provide voice services, it requires a circuit switched system. Okay. So this is basically a packet switched system. I hope you understand what is circuit switched system and what is packet switched system. Have you studied anywhere about these two things? Hello. Hope you understand what you mean by circuit switched system and packet switched system. Yes, I think everybody is sleeping after this lunch. No, nice lunch you might have taken, staying in home, right? So when you are not unmuting and saying yes or no, I understand that. Is it so? ಯಾರು ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ. Yes, I am asking. All are sleeping. ಮಾತನಾಡಿ, ಆ ಮೆಸೇಜ್ ಆಗ್ತಿಲ್ಲ ಚಾಟ್ ಬಾಕ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ, ಅನ್ಮ್ಯೂಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಹೇಳಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ವಾ ನೋ ಅಂತಂದು ಹೇಳಿ ಪ್ರಣವ್. Yes, what is the problem, man, for unmuting and talking to me? ಅದೇ ರೀಸನ್ ಮೈಕ್ ನಾಟ್ ವರ್ಕಿಂಗ್ ಅಷ್ಟೇ. ಬೆಟರ್ ಆಗ್ಲೆಲ್ಲ ಮೈಕ್ ಅನ್ಮ್ಯೂಟ್ ಮಾಡೋದು ಮಾತಾಡೋದು ಯಾಕೆ ಅಂತ ರಿಸ್ಕ್ ಅಲ್ವಾ. ಮೈಕ್ ವರ್ಕ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ ಸರ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್ ಆಗೋಗ್ಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ. ಓಕೆ, unless you are chatting in message. What about others? Yes, what happened to Ritika? Ritika, are you there? Yes, I'm asking Ritika, are you there? So better to leave ಅಲ್ವಾ. ಸೊ ದರ್ ಇಸ್ ನೋ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಅಲ್ವಾ, ಮಾತಾಡಿಸಿದ್ರೆ ಬಿಟ್ಬಿಡೋದು ಮೀಟಿಂಗ್. ಎಸ್, ಅದರ್ಸ್. ಕೇಶವ್
Yes, sir.
ಯಾರು ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಾರೆ? What are you doing, man?
Listening to the class, sir.
Listening to the class. You took so much of time to unmute and answer. I asked you a question. What is your question, man? Keshav?
Yes, sir.
I asked you one question. Yeah.
Yes, sir. That SAE and SGS and.
No. I asked a question on what? Yes, anybody else? What question I asked? Vidhu?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, can you tell what question I have asked? Again, why you are muting, man? Unmute and talk now. Do you listen? What about Teja?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, what question I was asking, ma?
Packet switch network,
Yeah.
circuit switch network.
Yeah. I have heard about that. Have you studied anywhere?
No, sir.
No,
Don't know,
you have not
sir.
studied about circuit switching system and packet switcher system?
Studied, sir. Forgot.
Studied where? In which subject?
Computer networks.
Computer networks, right? At least you remember subject now. Name, right? So maybe in the first module, maybe after 1 or 2 class, they might have told what is circuit switcher system and what is packet switcher system, right? So that is what, see, since it is an A semester subject, all basics you are aware, you should be able to recall. If we say just the word, what is what? Okay. Yes, Sushmita, can you say what is circuit switcher system and what is packet switcher system?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Like it depends on depends on what topology the packets are switching, how data is going over the computer network, sir.
Okay.
That
What about
is,
circuit switcher?
sir.
Circuit switcher system.
Circuit switching system. I'm not sure, sir. Like it, circuit system. When it comes to telecommunication network, while implementing, we can similar to packet switching, but here with respect to more of a real implementation.
Real implementation. See, circuit switcher system means it. If I want to communicate with X to Y, okay, there will be a dedicated resource, means dedicated channel. Okay, the dedicated channel will be established to communicate from X to Y. But in case of packet switcher system, there is no dedicated path. Okay, the packet can take any path from source to destination, right? So
Yes,
because
sir.
data will be going in terms of packets. So even the packets can be reordered also. So okay, as a receiver, it can be received at different orders, but later on it will be arranged in proper order, and it will be recovered back the right information. At least that is the minimum basic you people should know. Circuit switcher system means it has a dedicated path from source to destination. Okay, but packet switcher system will not have any dedicated path from source to destination. So the packet can take any uh, path to reach the receiver. Okay, means
Yes,
in
sir.
case of circuit switcher system, before we communicate, it has to be the path has to be established. Okay, dedicated path has to be established. Fine. So I was talking about that in case of 2G, there was a backup of circuit switcher system, but in case of 4G, it is basically IP based, right? That is what is IP? Yes, you want to say what is IP? I should again name it. Why people can't say on your own IP means this one? IP, just expansion of IP I'm asking.
Internet protocol.
Very good. So it is an internet protocol. Right. So IP address, every device, right, want to establish a communication, the IP address will be given for that. Again, let us not go in depth. Again, there are variety of IP addresses, right? Different classes also. Hope you will be able to recall all those things, because this LTE, which is 4G network, is basically a IP based network. So all those basics we are assuming that you have in your mind. Okay. So the key aspect of this LTE flat architecture is that all services, including voice, are supported on the IP packet network using IP protocols. Okay. So the long-term evolution. So that is what the expansion of LTE. Okay. So envisions only a single evolved packet switched core. So that we call it as EPC. Okay. Evolved packet core network, over which all services are supported, which could provide a huge operational and infrastructure cost savings. Hope got some idea. So let us see the LTE architecture now. Okay. So this is what the LTE network architecture. Yeah, I will give 2 minutes time. All of you just have a look. Try to understand the different network elements. Then we'll see the functionality of each and every network element of this network. Yes, on your own, each means I think some few elements are there. No, one person can just say the name, what is written here. Not only one person can tell only one name of the component or element. Hope understood my question. Whoever has interacted so far, by leaving them, others should unmute and read only one network element name. Even for reading also people hesitate. I am showing the slide. Okay. You people can't unmute and say this is what the network element name. ಭಾರಿ ಕಷ್ಟ ಆಯ್ತ್ರಿ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಹತ್ರ ಮಾತನಾಡೋದು. Yes, dear students, you should unmute and read the names. See, it is not fair to ask every time names and then read out. ಯಾವ ಭಾಷೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳ್ಬೇಕ್ರಿ ನಿಮಗೆ? ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ ಭಗವಂತ ನಿಮಗೆ ಬಾಯಿ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾನಷ್ಟೇ. ಓಕೆ. ಸೊ ಇಷ್ಟೊಂದು ರೆಲವೆಂಟ್ ಆಗಿರಬಾರ್ದು ಅನ್ಸುತ್ತೆ, ವಾಟ್ ಐ ಫೀಲ್. Even if I say unmute and read out, even for reading out the names, I'm not asking something else which is not there on slide. Every time I should call names and then I expect you to say something andre kashta. Yes, Abhilash, can you read out one name? Abhilash. Yes, next Aditya Patel. Aditya Patel. Gautam. Gautam. ಹರ್ಷಿತಾ, ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದೀಯ? ಎಷ್ಟು ಸರ್ತಿ ಕರಿಬೇಕ ನಿನ್ನ ಹೆಸರು? ಗೌತಮ್,
time to unmute, sir. That it was on.
ಎಷ್ಟೊತ್ತಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅನ್ಮ್ಯೂಟ್ ಮಾತಾಡಕ್ಕೆ? ನಾನು ಏನ್ ಹೇಳ್ದೆ ಇಲ್ಲ? I have shared one slide.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Are you able to see the slide?
Yes, sir. LTE network architecture.
ಇದೆ ಅಲ್ವಾ? ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ I have written the name of the network element. I asked you people to read one name. At least I asked people to just see first clearly. Then hardly it has 10 elements. At least 10 people can come out and say, yes, this is what the name of the component. Yes. Will you be able to read any one network component name?
Yes, sir. CDMA, code division multiplexing access.
Oh, CDMA long form ಹೇಳಲ್ವಲ್ಲ ನೆಟ್ಟಿಗೆ. ಕೋಡ್ ಡಿವಿಷನ್ ಮಲ್ಟಿಪ್ಲೆಕ್ಸಿಂಗ್ ಅದು. ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪಾನ್ಷನ್ ಆಫ್ CDMA. ಫೈನಲ್ ಇಯರ್ ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲೋ. ಲಾಸ್ಟ್
code division ಅಲ್ಲ ಸರ್ ಅದು.
ಹೌದು, ಕೋಡ್ ಡಿವಿಷನ್. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ 2 ಲೆಟರ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪಾನ್ಷನ್ ಹೇಳ್ಬೇಕಲ್ಲ ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿ. ಕೋಡ್ ಡಿವಿಷನ್ ಮಲ್ಟಿಪ್ಲೆಕ್ಸಿಂಗ್ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ ಅದನ್ನ.
ಮಲ್ಟಿಪಲ್ ಆಕ್ಸೆಸ್.
ಮತ್ತೆ code division multiple access. Okay, others also should observe the network. I think you people should be able to tell with flow. Means, okay, this should be the first element of this LTE network. The next element is this, next element is like that. Okay, other than LTE network, even other, because LTE cannot exist alone, no? So because it has evolved from 2G to 4G, it means the 2G network elements will also be there. 3G network elements will also be there. Then along with that, what are the 4G network elements? So if you are able to get that, then it will be clear. Okay, Gautam, from Gautam side, he told one network element. So others. So Abhilash and Matadanga. Abhilash, you don't want to talk to me, man? Abhilash, roll number 1. Aditya Patel. Okay. Then Gautam is over. Then Kavya.
Yes, sir.
ಏನ್ರಿ ನಿಮ್ ಹೆಸರು ಕರೆದ ಮೇಲೆನೆ ಎಸ್ ಅನ್ಬೇಕಾ? ಯಾಕೆ ನಿಮ್ಮಷ್ಟಕ್ಕೆ ನೀವು ಹೇಳಕ್ ಆಗಲ್ವಾ? ಕಾವ್ಯ.
Yes, sir.
ಏನ್ರಿ ಬಿ ಇಂಟರಾಕ್ಟಿವ್. ಯಾವಾಗ ಎಲ್ಲಾ ಹೆಸರು ಕರೆದ್ ಈ ತರ ಆದ್ರೆ ಪಾಠ ಮಾಡಕ್ ಆಗತ್ತ ನಾವು? Is it possible to complete the syllabus if we are spending time like this? Yes, can you read out one network element name?
Sir, GSM.
GSM ಅಂತ ಐತೆ ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ. GSM. Okay, fine. Then yes, after Kavya. Okay, one is enough. Yes, Lavanya.
Yes, sir.
Yes sir ಅಂತ ಬೇರೆ. ಕೇಳಿಸ್ತಾನೆ ಇಲ್ಲ ನೀವು ಹೇಳೋದು. ಏನ್ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀರಾ? ಏನು ಅನ್ಮ್ಯೂಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ. ಓಕೆ, ವೈ ಹಿಯರ್ ಯು ಪ್ರಾಪರ್ಲಿ. Okay, Lavanya is done. Then Meghana.
So PDS.
Yes, Mailaram.
So MME, sir.
Okay, MME. Yes, next Nandish Reddy.
SGSM.
Okay. Yes, Navya. Yes, Navya.
PCRF.
PCRF. Okay. Ashwin.
PCRF.
Yeah, fine, understood. PCRF. Ashwin.
Sir, PDSN.
PD?
SN.
Okay. Yes, then Ritika. So still Ritika is not here. Okay. Sai Lakshmi, yeah.
PDN gateway, sir.
PDN gateway. Good. Yes, Sonali. Serving gateway. Okay, fine. Yes, Sudarshan.
IP services and IMS.
Okay, IP services and IMS. Ready? Swas ready.
LTE node B, sir.
Okay, LTE node B. Yes, Vandana.
UMTS, HSPA, UTRAN.
Okay, fine. Okay, so to get the flow of first 4G network, I will tell. That is only the LTE network. As I said, along with that, even 2G, 3G network elements are also shown here, because all those things will be existing. Okay, it cannot be only the LTE standalone network. So to begin with, one more network element I have not shown, that is user equipment, that is mobile. Okay, mobile is not shown here in this. So to begin with, I can say this is LTE E node B, right? From your user equipment, it is connected to the E node B through air. Okay, that is wireless, right? From E node B, it has two planes. One is control plane, another one is user plane. Okay, so control plane will be connected to MME, that is mobility management entity. So that is the next network element in case of LTE, right? So this user plane is directly connected to the serving gateway, that is GWV, serving gateway. Okay, then the serving gateway and this PDN gateway, that is a packet data network. PDN means packet data network gateway. Okay, so these two network elements, that is serving gateway and packet data network gateway, are together known as evolved packet core or system architecture evolution access gateway, we call. Okay, so this is EPC network, we say. Evolved packet core means serving gateway and P gateway, or just PDN gateway also we say. Then from PDN gateway, it is connected to IP services, IMS and other things. So this is how the LTE network elements are, and even this PCRF is connected to this one. Okay, fine. So along with that, as I said, other generation network elements like CDMA, so which is of 2G and 3G, right? That will be connected to this PDN gateway through PDSN, right? And other than that, even a GSM, I said it is a 2G network, right? GSM, then GARAN, then UMTS or HSPA, right? That is Universal Mobile Telephone System, then High Speed Packet Access, right? Universal Terrestrial Radio Access Network, that is UTRAN. So these things, see, this GSM will be connected to SGSN, right? That is serving GPRS service node. Then that SGSN will be connected to the mobility management entity of this LTE network. Then this UMTS or HPS is also connected to SGSN, and in turn it is directly connected to serving gateway also. So this we call as one tunnel option. Then what are other access technologies other than this GSM, CDMA, then UMTS or HSPA, right? So other than these, other access technologies means what? Anyone of you can say? What are the other access technologies we have? That is, yeah, anyone can say? Other access technologies like Wi-Fi, okay, WiMAX and other things, they will be connected to the PDN gateway, okay, public data network gateway. So this is the LTE network architecture, what I wanted to say. So hope you had got what are the different network elements of LTE. So mainly what I wanted, I will repeat once again. What I can say is user equipment, which is not shown here, that will be there. That is connected to E node B, that is LTE, right? From E node B, right? So one is MME, that is mobility management entity. Another one is serving gateway. Okay, so two paths are there here. One is control path or control plane we say. Another one is user plane. Okay, the serving gateway and public data network gateway. Okay, so these are the two different network elements, and these two together are known as evolved packet core or system architecture evolution access gateway we call. Okay, from P gateway, it is connected to IP services and IMS. Okay, IMS is what? Anyone can say what is IMS? Yes, anyone of you can say what is IMS? See, you people are using this voltage service, right? That is what voice over LTE, because LTE is basically for data. Okay, but voice is also supported, right? So that voice support is provided by IMS. So I'm asking you to say what is IMS? Expansion of IMS, just.
Information management system.
No. So you should tell with Russia. Of course, it can be expanded in many ways, but related to this technology and this one you should tell.
IP multimedia
Integrated
system.
management system.
No, not integrated.
IP multimedia system.
IP multimedia. Yeah, IP multimedia system means multimedia. There is more than one media it can support, right? So voice is supported with this, okay, by this element. Okay, so now just let me say in brief what are the functions of each and every network element. Okay, hope this picture is clear.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so this is important. Even other things are also important. I don't say other things are not important. So as far as the architecture of the network, LTE network is concerned, so these elements should be there in your mind. Okay. So this is what the LTE network architecture. So let me say in brief what is the function of each network element. So first one is okay, just I will say what is EPC, that is what I said evolved packet switched core network, right? It has 4 elements. What I said, EPC is basically it's having service serving gateway, right? Serving gateway. So which will terminate the interface towards 3GPP radio access networks. Means see the serving gateway, right? Which is connected to MME, even other elements also like SGSN, GSM and these things, right? That is what the meaning of that. So serving gateway terminates the interface towards the 3GPP radio access networks. Okay, the 3GPP radio access networks are these things. Okay, one is E node B. These things are also through this one. The next one is packet data network gateway. That is P gateway we say, or PDN gateway also. Okay, here it is written PDN gateway, or it is also just in short P gateway. Okay, so this P gateway or PDN public data network gateway, which controls IP data services. Okay, it does routing. It allocates IP addresses. So these are all functions of P gateway. So P gateway only allocates the IP addresses to the user equipment. See, when you want to establish a communication from X to Y, we need address, right? So P gateway is going to allocate that, and even it will do the routing also. Okay, and it enforces policy and provides access for non-3GPP access networks. So non-3GPP means that one only. Right? This P gateway is connected to other access technologies. So other access technologies, I said Wi-Fi, WiMAX, and other things. So they are all non-3GPP technologies. Okay. Next is the mobility management entity. So which supports user equipment context and as well as identity, and it will also authenticates and authorizes the user. So even that MME will have HSS, that is home subscriber server. Okay, I will come to that. What is that home subscriber server, where the user information will be stored there. So okay, from that this MME will get the information and it will authenticate. Okay, is the authorized user for this network, like that. Then policy and charging rules function, that is PCRF. So that will manage the quality of service aspects. Okay, so I just in brief in one line I said what is the role of those 4 main elements of LTE. So let me go in depth, because we need to understand each and every functionality of all those network elements. So first one is evolved node B, that is ENB, right? ENB or E node B. So it does the operation of ciphering, deciphering of user and control plane data. Hope you understand what is ciphering. Yes, my dear students should be able to say ciphering. Are you aware what is ciphering? Swas ready?
Yes, sir.
Can you say what is ciphering?
Like coding any information.
Coding your raw data.
Yes, sir.
So the function of E node B is what? It does ciphering, deciphering of user and as well as control plane data. So it does IP header compression and decompression. Okay. Then it does the radio resource management. So here RRM we say in short, radio resource management. So it does the resource allocation, then prioritizing, scheduling, okay, resource usage monitoring. All these things will be done by E node B only. Then it provides cell information broadcast, and ENB is also involved with mobility management. Okay, of course, so mobility management entity is there, but it also takes care of certain, to certain extent, the mobility management within a coverage area of that particular cell. Okay, so MME will come into picture when the user equipment is moving from one cell to another cell. Okay, within a cell, if the user is moving, so during that time, that is taken care by ENB only. Then ENB controls and analyzes radio signal measurements carried out by the user equipment. Means your mobile signal strength will be analyzed, and it will also be controlled, and it will be keep monitoring and measuring continuously by the ENB. Okay, and it also makes signal measurements by itself. Means its signal strength will also be measured by itself. So based on that measurement information, ENB can make a decision to hand over the user equipments between the cells, right? So as I said, the eNode B will be monitoring the radio signal strength of user equipments. Based on the value, it can take a decision for handovers. Means it will request for handovers from the MME. And it does admission control also. Okay. Fine. So I have listed here 10. At least out of 10, you should be able to 5-6. Be able to tell 5-6 functionalities. Okay. So to just have a recap of this, it does ciphering, deciphering of user and control plane data. It does IP header compression, decompression. It does radio resource management, which includes resource allocation, prioritizing, scheduling, resource usage monitoring. Okay. Even it does cell information broadcast. Okay. It is involved with mobility management. Okay. It analyzes and controls the radio signal measurements carried out by the user equipment, and it can take the decisions based on the signal strength received from the user equipment for handovers. And it does admission control also. Okay. So the next element is the serving gateway. So as I said, the serving gateway manages the user plane mobility, right? It serves as...
I have a
Yes.
doubt, sir. So it will hand over to other UE system equipment. No, sir, is it regarding the coverage area, so like defense cell?
Yeah. Which one? This one, eNode B, na?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, eNode, that is what. So based on the measurement information, eNode B makes decisions to hand over user equipments between cells. That is from one cell to another cell. So cell is basically the coverage area of one particular base station, or ENB, what we can say. So when the user is moving from one cell to another cell, obviously he has to switch over to another cell, right? So during that time, the handover will happen. Yeah, any questions?
No, sir.
Yeah. So next one is the serving gateway. I said it manages user plane mobility. Basically, that's as a anchor, mobility anchor. Okay. What is that? Serving gateway. So when terminals move across areas served by different ENBs, right? I hope you will be able to visualize. See, for one serving gateway, several ENBs will be connected. Okay. Here I have shown only one ENB, so it can be extended to n number of ENBs. So all those ENBs means when user equipment is moving from one ENB to another ENB, yes, handover will happen, right? So during that time, serving gateway will come into a picture also. So it serves as a mobility anchor. So when terminals move across areas served by different ENBs, right? Yeah, not only with eUtron and even with other 3GPP radio networks like Geron or GSM, then eUtron also. So serving gateway does this downlink packet buffering and as well as the initiation of the network. Network triggered service. Okay, so let us see what are the network triggered service requests and all. Okay, and it also responsible for lawful interception, and it does packet routing and forwarding. Okay, and it also does transport level packet marking in the uplink and downlink, and accounting support for per user and interoperator charging. So that is also taken care by the serving gateway. Okay, of course, you may not be able to grasp all these in one stretch. slowly as we move and in subsequent lectures, yes, sir. Okay, you will be able to understand these are the things done by each network element. Okay. Yeah, the next one is packet data network gateway. Okay, so it acts as the termination point of the EPC toward other PDN such as internet, private IP network, or even other ISM networks providing end user services. So with respect to the diagram, I think you will be able to understand the functionality of that, right? Yeah. Then it serves as an anchor point for sessions towards external PDN. That is, external PDNs, it is an anchor point, P gateway, right? So it provides functions such as user IP address allocation, then policy enforcement, packet filtering, charging support. Okay, these policy enforcements include operator defined rules for resource allocation to control data rate, and as well as quality of service and usage. Okay, so this packet filtering functions as the deep packet inspection for application detection. So these are the few functions of P gateway. Then yeah, the last one, just I would like to wind up with this. That is the mobility management entity. No, I said already. So this MME performs the signaling and control function to manage the user terminal access network connections, then assignment of network resources, and as well as mobility management functions. So it will be able to do the idle mode user equipment location tracking, phasing, then roaming and handovers. Okay. So MME controls all control plane functions related to subscriber and session management, and it provides security functions such as temporary identities for user terminals interacting with HSS, that is home subscriber server, for authentication, and it also does negotiation of ciphering and integrity protection algorithms. Okay. So it is also responsible for selecting the appropriate serving and PDN gateways. Which one? The mobility management unit is responsible for selecting the appropriate serving and PDN gateway and selecting legacy gateways for handovers to other GARAN or UTRON networks. So MME is the point at which a lawful interception of signaling is made. Okay. And it manages thousands of ENB elements, I said. So that is one of the key difference from 2G or 3G platform using RNC and SGSN platforms. Right, so the last one is the PCRF, I said, right? That is policy and charging rules function. So here it has the concatenation of two things. One is policy decision function, and another one is a charging rules function, that is CRF. So this PCRF will interface with PDN gateway and supports the service data flow detection, policy enforcement, and flow-based charging. Okay. And it to support non-3GPP access to the network, so this PCRF will help. Okay, of course, I told in brief, let me discuss again in detail about these things with the analogy. Okay, so now still time is up. So you people can also just have a look about all these things. You can think also, and with the analogy, we'll try to understand the functionalities of each and every network elements of this LTE. Okay, is that fine? So that is tomorrow.
Yes,
yeah. So just if I say with the technical words, you will not be able to understand. I will give an analogy, whereas you will be able to understand the functionality and of each and every network element of this LTE. Okay. So with this, I will stop this one. I think I request all of you to write your US